and I left the Spaya Pass with security. I didn't leave the pass because I wanted to be noble. I left it because turnstiles are better at telling the truth than I am. The museum stays open late now that the new wing has donors who love seeing their names under good lighting. The lobby by the loading dock has a security desk with a bowl of keycods that have learned discretion. If you tell the guard you have a guest coming through the staff entrance, he'll put a pass under their name and look at your face long enough to decide whether to remember it later. I told him for Ava, and hoped I was still the man that meant. At 11:36 p.m. my phone buzzed with what we both know how to write in our sleep. Loadout ran long, quick debrief became drinks, might crash at the office. Don't wait up. Ava is honest and precise when precision makes honesty survivable. She manages chaos like a woman born between storms. For a year our marriage has been dignified, merciful, asleep in the exact way a house can be when it has paid the mortgage on time. The person who made that dangerous was the operations lead, of course. Eli, sleeves shoved, roll of gaffer at his hip, a habit of standing exactly one respectful step from married women, as if consent were a floor plan. Security buzzed her in at 12:00 fall. The turnstiles blinked their soft green approval like benevolent bureaucracy. She came down the staff corridor with her hair still pinned in the shape competence requires, and the mouth I met years ago when both of us believed in expensive mistakes. Eli followed at the proper distance. He saw me, and did the small nod good men keep for husbands they'd rather not have as enemies. He stopped at the pylon and put his tote on the floor, palms visible. "Do you need me?" he asked Ava, not me. "I need you exactly there," she said, pointing to the line where polished concrete becomes modest carpet. "If I want anything else, I'll use my nouns." He obeyed in the way of men, who intend to stay invited. "Why the museum?" Ava asked me. "You could have texted." "Because rooms with turnstiles don't tolerate improvisation," I said, "and because I wanted to see if I could be interesting without a keyboard." "Say it," she said. "Did you kiss him?" I asked. I asked it like a man who hopes to live through the answer and not like a plaintiff. "In an elevator," she said, because apparently the universe recycles its best and worst work. 2 weeks ago, between floors and advice, quick mint, rehearsal, he stepped back and said my name like a lock. I hated him for making me proud of him. "I wanted to hit him," I said. "You wanted to hit the part of me that forgot to invite you," she said. "I can hit that part. Your hands are better at other jobs." The night crew pushed a crate across the lobby, the wheels complaining in a language I respect. The turnstiles blinked, indifferent. I put my palm lightly at the back of her neck, the way a man does when he intends to be specific. She closed her eyes and let the part of her that sits bravely in meetings step out of the way. "Invite me when you're interesting," I said. "Not only when you're frightened you'll be easier to love in other lighting." "I am inviting you," she said, and then, because accuracy is her religion now. We kissed under the mezzanine like we owed the cameras a better rumor. Not apology, jurisdiction. My other hand slid to her waist and stopped at the elastic because lives and neighbors, and the fact that the spare pass had our name on it, not anyone else. She made a sound the museum will never put in a catalog. Eli looked at the polished concrete and counted his breaths like a man lifting something no one could help him with. "Do you still want to hit him?" she asked. The smile only people married long enough to be dangerous know how to keep small. "I want to thank him for stepping back," I said, "and I want to owe him nothing else." "That's a budget," she said. "I can live in it." We took the service stairs up to the conservation lab, because the city keeps its better truths behind glass. The room smelled like linen and solvents, and the stubborn grace of objects that refuse to die correctly. We stood by the light table, and she told me the truth I didn't earn and she didn't owe. The kiss had been curiosity dressed as courage. The stopping had been the only part of the night she liked in daylight. Tonight's almost was the kind of door that practices your name. I told her about the month I drove past motels like a census of bad decisions, and never turned in, because I loved the life that would hate me for it more than the story that wouldn't. Eli cleared his throat in the polite key. "Loadin' at 9, he said from the doorway, eyes still on the floor. "The big case needs 4 humans and 0 speeches." He didn't wait for absolution. He left because good men learn when the room isn't theirs. At 9, the community center smelled like lemons and competence. Eli stacked tables the way you stack a morning that owes you nothing and will still cooperate if you ask properly. I brought him a coffee and said, "Thank you for being the adult in the elevator." He nodded once because nodding twice turns into theater. Ava moved through the room with a clipboard and a mouth that made volunteers believe their backs had a politics. When she passed me, she touched my wrist, daylight legal, and the morning did what mornings do when 2 people decide to be exact. We didn't tell anyone about the pass. We taped the temporary sticker to the side of our fridge under the magnet shaped like a ridiculous boat we bought one summer we didn't ruin. Sometimes when the house auditions for courtroom, we walk past the museum and watch the turnstiles blink their indifferent green. Sometimes she texts come and means stand next to me while I bend a room into competence and beauty. Sometimes I text come and mean watch me be a body before I become a plan. Sometimes we stop at security and leave a pass anyway for a name we still respect. Ours. We didn't stop admiring other people's competence. We did stop confusing it with permission. Heat is a temperature, not a verdict. We eat before we try to win. We sleep when the clock loses its manners. We put our hands on each other in daylight as if the sun still issues licenses. And when the gossip part of the city asks if we have anything to add, we hand it the sticker and say, "We chose the version where turnstiles already knew our names. We didn't make the guard a liar. And we used the spare pass the way you're supposed to, on the door you own, with the mouth that remembers, before anyone else gets the chance to pretend they have a better room for us."